You walk into a room and somehow know which conversation ended right before you arrived. Nobody says anything, nobody explains anything, but you can feel the leftover tension in the air like a sound nobody else can hear. Someone is smiling a little too carefully. Someone else is quieter than usual. A message came back with one less word than normal. A voice sounded fine, but not quite fine. And now your brain is awake. Not because you want drama, not because you're trying to create a problem, but because some part of you learned a long time ago that tiny changes are rarely tiny when you're the one who has to live with what they mean.
You notice tone changes instantly. A voice drops half a register, and you catch it before the sentence even finishes. Most people would need it pointed out to them. You just know. You can tell when someone is pretending. Not because they're bad at it, because you've spent your whole life reading the gap between what a face is doing and what a face actually means. You feel the mood of a room before you understand why. You walk in, and before you've said hello to anyone, your body has already adjusted itself to match something it hasn't named yet. You replay small details because they feel like clues. A word someone chose, a pause that lasted 1 second too long. You're not being paranoid. You're trying to solve something your nervous system has already flagged as unresolved. You absorb other people's discomfort before they name it. Someone hasn't said they're stressed yet, and you're already a little tense on their behalf, without knowing why. And you struggle to relax because relaxing feels like letting your guard down. If you stop scanning, even for a moment, you worry you'll miss the thing that actually matters. You do not just hear what someone says. You hear the pause before it, the effort behind it, and the feeling they tried to leave out. Here's what's actually happening, in plain terms. What you call being too aware is your nervous system doing two things at once: pattern recognition and emotional attunement, running constantly in the background, whether you ask for it or not. Pattern recognition means your brain is comparing what's happening right now to thousands of small moments you've lived through before. And it's fast, faster than conscious thought. By the time you normally start noticing, you've already noticed. Emotional attunement means you're wired to pick up on the internal state of the people around you, their tone, their posture, the timing of their responses, almost as if it were your own information to track. Some people develop this early. Often it starts in an environment where missing a signal actually did cost something. A parent's mood that shifted without warning, a household where calm could turn quickly, a friendship where you learned that paying close attention kept things safer. Your mind didn't decide to do this on purpose. It learned that scanning worked, and it kept doing it long after the original reasons stopped being relevant.
This is not anxiety, even though it can feel like it. Anxiety reacts to a threat that may or may not be there. What you're doing is closer to constant intelligence gathering, and most of what you gather is actually accurate. The room looks normal to everyone else, but your nervous system is reading it like a weather report. The exhausting part isn't the noticing. It's that your mind never got the memo that it's allowed to stop.
Here are the specific ways this tends to show up. You hear what people mean even when they say something else. I'm fine rarely sounds fine to you, and you've stopped expecting it to. You notice the exact second a room changes. Someone walks in, or a phone buzzes, or a joke lands wrong, and you feel the shift before anyone visibly reacts to it. You feel responsible for moods you did not create. Someone else is having a hard day, and somehow it becomes your job to manage it, fix it, or at minimum, worry about it. You replay tiny details because they feel like clues. A look, a delay before someone answered. You're not obsessing for fun. You're trying to finish a thought your brain refuses to file as closed. You struggle around people who are emotionally inconsistent. If someone's warmth changes unpredictably, your system treats it like an unsolved problem that needs constant monitoring. You can sense rejection before anyone says no. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you brace for something that never comes. Either way, the bracing happens automatically. You are exhausted by places where everyone is pretending. A room full of performed smiles costs you more energy than a room full of honest tension ever would. You confuse awareness with responsibility. Noticing something and being obligated to fix it feel like the same thing inside your head, even though they aren't. And you do not know how to turn your perception off, even when nothing is wrong. There's no situation calm enough that the scanning fully switches off. It just gets quieter. Being too aware means you often notice the mood before the person having it is ready to admit it exists. Here's the part that changes things. Your awareness is not the enemy. It's a powerful instrument. It just never came with a volume control. You don't have to stop noticing. Noticing is not the problem. The problem is that your mind treats every single signal as something requiring an immediate response, an opinion, or a fix. Most signals don't. You are not overthinking because you enjoy making problems. You are overthinking because your brain learned that missing one detail could cost you peace. That used to be true. It probably isn't anymore. Not in most of the rooms you're in now. So the actual skill to build isn't suppression. It's sorting. Learning which signals belong to you, which belong entirely to someone else, and which don't require anything from you at all, not even a thought. Awareness becomes exhausting when your mind treats every small change as something you are responsible for understanding. The moment you can separate noticing from owning, the exhaustion starts to lift, even though the awareness itself stays exactly as sharp. This is the same trait that makes you the person others trust with the truth, who knows when someone needs space and when they need company, often before they can say which. That part was never the problem. You were not built wrong. Your mind learned to stay awake. The next part of your life is learning when it can finally rest.